Hello and welcome to Main Street Matters by Heart on Main Street, the podcast that gets back up no matter how many times it gets knocked down. I am your host, Patrick Kaiser, and I am thrilled to have you with us today. Happy Independence Day! This episode will be published on July 4th, 2024, so whether you listen to it on the day that it was published or sometime in the future, I hope you have a tremendous Independence Day and are able to celebrate with your friends and family. I did consider skipping this week because of the holiday, but I have missed several weeks this past month, and since I do talk about independent businesses being the backbone of the American economy, especially in small towns, I thought it would be fitting to talk about them on this, our Independence Day. A couple quick notes before we dive into today's content. With the rash of tornadoes that have struck the U.S. over the past couple months, several retailers have reached out to Heart on Main Street about providing some financial assistance to help them rebuild their stores, particularly ones in Temple, Texas and Greenville, Kentucky. I know the initial thought might be that insurance is there to cover these things, but oftentimes insurance does not make them whole again, and there can be a significant disparity between what they do decide to cover and the costs of reopening their stores. After speaking with Brickwood Boutique in Temple, their insurance company is, honestly, nickel and diming them on what they're going to be paying for over their inventory and who will pay for things between the insurance company and the insurance company of the building owner. They're also being told that they cannot operate their online store or they're going to be violating their interruption of business coverage. So this business that's been a part of their community for over 20 years is stuck in a bind. Losing their store, sitting on inventory, not being allowed to sell anything in order to help themselves, and getting the runaround from insurance companies. Our heart is with stores in these situations, and we want to do anything that we can to help. I know you probably hear many requests from organizations for financial support, and you can't fulfill them all. But if you are going to give this month, please consider helping these retailers. You can help by donating at heartonmainstreet.org. 100% of the money donated goes to helping retailers that have been affected by natural disasters. So thank you for your consideration. Now, onto our episode. Today, we head out on the highway to the Great Divide and make our first Main Street Monday stop in the Centennial State of Colorado. I was in Colorado for Crystal Vilkaitis' Evolve 2024 conference, and I stayed an extra day in order to make a Main Street Monday stop. Interestingly enough, our Main Street Monday series was really conceptualized at Evolve 2023, when Crystal encouraged retailers to put themselves out there more in their social media, to show their faces, and to let their audience get to know them better. So this was not necessarily the first anniversary of our Main Street Monday, but rather the completion of a year of Main Street Mondays. In that time, I visited 41 communities and met with roughly 500 independent retail stores. We have seen our organization grow. I've been invited to many towns and recognized by other people when I visit an area. And going live and being on camera has become easier over time. So as much as I feared that at first, I am living proof that it does become less scary, and if you do put yourself out there, good things will happen. So while in Colorado, I visited the town of Estes Park. On the surface, this town has everything that you'd like to see, with a commercial shopping district for independent retailers. It's a beautiful town surrounded by breathtaking mountain ranges. It's at the base of Rocky Mountain National Park, which attracts an estimated 4.5 million visitors per year and allows for a winter and summer tourism season as it attracts both skiing and hiking crowds. There's the Stanley Hotel of The Shining fame, which brings in tourists interested in horror and the supernatural. There are concerts and festivals and a thriving art scene. Estes Park has the makings of a perfect town for a thriving Main Street area. And it is, except for when Mother Nature decides that it isn't. Twice in the last 50 years, Estes Park has been subject to the most horrible and devastating destruction imaginable. floods that have completely destroyed the homes and businesses in the area. They've killed hundreds of people and sent the town reeling and asking serious questions about its future. The first occurred in July 1976, so the bicentennial of the United States, when a storm front stalled over the Big Thompson River watershed and heavy rains began to fall. Within 3 hours, 12 inches of rain fell over the area. Now, I personally always struggle with the context of this because on one hand, 12 inches of rain sounds like a lot. When we get an inch of rain where I live, it means it rained a lot. But like a foot of rain, how much is that really? What would that look like, and how destructive really is that? So for a little added context, 1 inch of rain would produce roughly 1 foot of snow. Thank you very much, Mr. Whitcamper, my old high school science teacher, and then that was independently supported by the National Weather Service. So if you're trying to conceptualize what this would be like, don't just think about a foot of water on the ground. Think 12 feet of snow falling in the amount of time it takes you to watch a long movie. But because it's liquid, this devastating event then went on the move down the canyon in the form of a flash flood. Trees were uprooted and washed down the canyon. Boulders up to 10 feet wide were dislodged and carried with the river towards the city. Phone lines were downed and streets were completely wiped out. So people in the path of destruction were unable to be contacted and really couldn't even get out if they were made aware that this flood was coming towards them. Almost 150 people died during this, and 400 businesses were destroyed. It was a harrowing and tragic event. But Estes Park picked itself back up again. As one longtime resident told me, the people of Estes Park were determined to recover what they could and rebuild what they couldn't. They became a tight-knit and supportive community. They supported the businesses, which led to a revitalization of the downtown community. Still today, the area is dominated by independent retail because of this history. The town wants small businesses. They want to know that the store owners live in the community and know the history of the area. There are some stores like Rocky Mountain Connection that survived the flood and are still in business today. They've actually been in Estes Park since the 1930s, which is just amazing considering everything that the town has seen. Following the 1976 flood, the town was rebuilt. It grew. It became a destination spot again because of all the amazing offerings that the town provides visitors. Until tragedy struck again in September 2013. For over a week, heavy rain fell upon the area, turning into torrential rain for several days in the middle of the storm. It culminated in what experts called a 500 or 1,000 year flood, so something that only comes every 500 or 1,000 years. Larimer County, where Estes Park is located, saw over 12 inches of rain. Boulder County saw over 18 inches of rain. Infrastructure that had been rebuilt to flood-proof standards following the 1976 flood, failed. Once again, roads, trees, boulders were washed away by the flooding, causing devastating destruction as rivers rose and spilled over their banks and cascaded down the canyons. FEMA estimated that it would take 6 to 10 years to get the area back to normal. It took 9 years, and as of 2023, there were still some bridges that needed to be rebuilt and some areas that still need improvement. But Estes Park responded as they did in 1976 by coming together as a community. They held their Bluegrass Festival that year, and it was the biggest celebration of the summer. The annual Thanksgiving parade went on as usual, with the added flair that the neighborhood-assigned porta potties were decorated, put on wheels, and then brought into the parade. Neighborhoods competed with each other to see who could make the prettier porta potties instead of being angry or frustrated at the situation. 11 years later, there's still work to be done. When I visited, construction crews were taking advantage of the time in between tourist seasons of the winter and summer to work on roads, the river walk, the sewer system, to be able to accommodate more water flow and make sure that the buildings were protected in the event of another flood. But this is a town that has been washed away and rebuilt over and over. And because of that, the town has a special pride in its downtown and in its independent retail stores and in those that live within the community. So what is Estes Park like today? Again, it's located in one of the most beautiful parts of the country on the doorsteps of the Rocky Mountain National Park. Estes Park has everything that you could want in a Main Street area. There are great restaurants, candy stores, boutiques, toy stores, jewelers, gift shops, unique specialty stores that focus on Christmas all year round, leather belts and outdoor activities, or even focusing on Colorado's frontier past. All of this comes with views of the Rocky Mountains and the sounds of the Fall River, providing the setting for a magical shopping experience. Because it is a major tourist destination, there are many tourist shops in the downtown area. There are many stores where you can buy an Estes Park or a Rocky Mountain National Park t-shirt or a ski patrol hat. Pulled taffy also seems to be a local delicacy with several shops dedicated to it. You can watch from the window as machines pull the taffy. And if you'd like to view some of these stores that I mention as I continue to talk, you can go to our Instagram page, which is at Heart on Main Street, and find the highlights of my visit to Estes Park. In the heart of the downtown area, there's a store called Trends at the Park that provides shoppers with the best Estes Park has to offer. After you are greeted by the local shop dog, you're able to explore a wide variety of items that makes Trends an essential part of the downtown. Here you can find products made by local Colorado artisans, gifts for children and pets, home accessories, in addition to information on the national parks, as well as factual and humorous guides for survival out in the wilderness. Yes, there are clothing and apparel that celebrate the Centennial State and National Park, just like many of the other stores in the downtown. But at Trends, these have a little less of a tourism feel and offer more honor to the state that they call home. Unless we forget the visual aspect of the store, Trends really dazzles visitors with gorgeous displays and eye-catching fixtures and statement pieces that demand shoppers continue to explore its 5,000 square foot store. So whether you're looking for something in particular or just want to browse, Trends at the Park provides really the perfect Estes Park shopping destination. Another favorite of mine in downtown Estes Park was a store called Hike. That's hike like you would go on a hike, but it's spelled with a Y and no E. As you might guess from the name, the store is dedicated to the outdoors, hiking, camping, backpacking, whitewater rafting, and all the things necessary to enjoy the outdoors. It's the perfect specialty store for the area, as it provides people with the opportunity to pick up the things they might have forgotten or didn't know that they needed before arriving. It really fits with the whole attitude and vibe of Estes Park. Downtown Estes Park also has a beautiful art gallery called Earthwood Collections, which hosts artwork mostly from Colorado-based artists. The themes inside were very nature-forward and focused on the beauty that you can find in the area. Everything from paintings to glasswork to wooden carved items highlighting the local flora and fauna of Colorado. This is one element that I love about Colorado is the focus on nature. The mountains and outdoors are an ever-present feature, and people really respect and prioritize the beauty of the landscape in ways that you just don't really see other states doing. For my trip here, I also ventured out of the downtown and visited some of the other retail locations that weren't just on Main Street, but in the surrounding areas as well. Much effort is given to supporting and promoting the businesses of the downtown, but there are some fantastic independent retail locations just beyond it as well. One store I visited was the Mad Moose, I actually met the owner of the Mad Moose, Maureen McCann, at the Evolve conference, and she convinced me that Estes Park was the place to go for our Main Street Monday. The Mad Moose is an enormous gift, home, and apparel store with tremendous decor pieces and displays. Right when you walk in, you're met by a gigantic stuffed moose head that they've nicknamed Monty. All throughout the store, you continue to find fun little touches and details like their handmade wooden furniture, elk antler chandeliers, and vignettes of products that allow you to see the items in your home with your mind's eye. The store sits almost at the entrance to the national park, so you're constantly surrounded by these stunning views of the mountains. It makes you want to stay there all day. And because of its separation from the downtown area, Maureen has done a fairly unique thing. She's taken it upon herself to collaborate with several other stores that exist beyond the downtown limits to set up an inter-store rewards and loyalty program. She's worked with 13 other owners to establish a punch card program that encourages customers to visit their stores and earn prizes for shopping beyond downtown. I thought this was an incredibly inventive and unique initiative to draw businesses to other stores that serve a vital role within the community but might not get the same traffic. I am all about retailers collaborating with each other to help each other grow and become better businesses, and this is a great way to work together to do that. Another store that's part of this program that I visited is called Cabintique. That's a mixture of cabin and antique or boutique. This was such a fun store. Think decor and themes of a classic wooden mountain cabin, and you can probably come pretty close to picturing this store. It feels like you're stepping into an old cabin. They have antique items and modern items and items that demonstrate the history of Estes Park. The owner said that she'll have people come and donate things from their parents or grandparents that have lived in the area, and she cannot believe what she's been given. Great old black and white photographs, paintings of the area from relatively famous artists, and maps that show the growth and development of this area over time. She also has many modern items that fit with this cabin vibe and really create a great atmosphere within the store. Estes Park is a beautiful slice of the country that has tremendous independent retail. It is a place that truly cares for its independent retailers and thinks of the community first and foremost. Looking at it now, it's hard to imagine the devastation that the town has gone through over the last 50 years, but these tragic events have only brought more resiliency to the area and created a stronger community. It's easy to see why this Main Street and the independent retailers of the community are thriving. Next week, we will continue our Shop Talk series with Kara Poliner of Ely Mercantile in Ely, Minnesota. Kara is in full summer swing, so we will check in with her to see how her store is faring in its first busy season and what she's learned so far about running her first retail store. This episode was written, produced, researched, and edited by me, Patrick Kaiser. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. Stay safe, shop small, have a great 4th of July, and I will see you all next week.